Have you ever had one of your most favorite works of art be absolutely ruined and destroyed? Well, it's okay, because today I'm going to talk about just that.
Okay, and so what game are we gonna be talking about?
We're going to be talking about Until Dawn, the remake to be more specific. So, Until Dawn, if you have not played or seen the original, has to deal with a group of people who went to a cabin in the woods, I guess you could say. They were friends, and two of them go missing. And then, a while after the traumatic event of their friends going missing, the remaining friends return and they spend the night in the cabin again. Essentially, that's what the game's about. But here goes our review about that game. So, first things first, the game is pretty demanding, I would say. There are a good bit of stutters here and there. While we're playing the game, there are times where my frame rate will dip to like 20 frames for no reason. Certain textures won't load, and at one point when Sam was supposed to appear, Sam's head was just gone.
And this is because we had the settings on, I want to say high and performance for the FSR. So you could technically set the game to balance, or you could lower the settings, depending on whichever one you're trying to go for. If it's even higher than what the PC we have is, you could go for ultra quality possibly, or, a lower PC. You'd probably have to go with performance. There's no point in playing the game if the game isn't playable.
Now, when we come to the actual gameplay and story, I feel like the soundtrack is terrible. It feels like they try to make the whole thing comedy or comical in a way, and it bothers me because in the original Until Dawn, the PS4 version, it felt really good, scary, and you were kind of like invested in the story. But then here you are playing the remake, and I was expecting it to be really good. I was so excited to see that a remake was coming out. And then here I am trying to play the remake on my PC, and the cinematics feel like there's way too much going on. It seems like the mood is a lot happier, and it feels like they're doing a Borderlands character introduction for the entire beginning of the game in the cinematic, as if they're trying to name the characters without the names, of course. And then they have music playing every 5 seconds, and every time there's music playing, it feels like I'm in a Disney movie trying to jump into song, or I'm trying to sneak past somebody and get a cookie from a cookie jar or something like that. It makes no sense. It's terrible.
I guess you could argue there though that the way that you're feeling is probably how they targeted approaching the story, because they could try and give that twist of, oh, I mean, if you've played the game before, you're obviously going to know how the original goes. But for any newcomers, it might be that they're introducing you to these characters in a very fun and kind of preppy way. And so whenever you have to face the traumatic events that occur later, it might leave more of a shock to you or a twist. There were some parts where, yeah, the music didn't, I wasn't a big fan of it, but it didn't really bother me that much, honestly. And the soundtracks themselves weren't that bad.
No, I felt the exact opposite. I felt like it bothered me, and I feel like I can't recommend this game to anybody, especially not as a first playthrough. I'm normally perfectly fine with remakes, and I live for the remakes. I don't care about the changes where a lot of people are like, "Oh, there was no point in remaking this game." I don't usually have that standpoint, but for this one, I felt like it was wasted. I normally don't regret spending money on games, whereas I have a habit of buying every game that I see for cheap, even if I don't play them. But for this game, I paid all the money, and I feel like I wasted it. I feel like I have to force myself to watch somebody play this, or if I wanted to play this, I'd probably just go back to the original. The mood is completely different, and I would say it just ruins the experience for the person who's playing it for the first time. Problem with the controller sensitivity. We had to manually change the sensitivity a little lower, which isn't a problem. And I'm happy that they had that functionality or that setting to where, oh, keep my controller still and the vibrations too strong. Then I can just lessen the sensitivity so it doesn't cause a problem in the don't move segments of the game. But ultimately, I feel like the entire, holy, my voice died. Um, I feel as if this game visually is stunning. It looks beautiful. When I look back at the original Until Dawn on PS4, I'd say that looks terrible. But that's the only good thing that I can give it. Realistically, to me, I'd rather go back to the original than these little funky new soundtrack and this whole like it just seems like a mockery of the original to me. I think they just dropped the ball, and I'm hoping that Silent Hill definitely does better when it comes to their remake.
I agree, definitely. The quality and the visuals are absolutely incredible. You can see every individual, in the beginning when you're loading up the game, you can see every individual port. It looks great. But I feel like for a remake, as far as anything else past that, it doesn't impress me at all because I feel like we're in the age of technology where we should be having the animation. Okay, if they're making a realistic type game, these animations and the walking and the picking up things or bending over to inspect something, for me, I feel like they look very stiff. And we've seen several different types of games, like our last review on Wukong, which you should go check out. In that game, you see that the animations are very fluid. He does flips, he does, dodges, and everything just looks so clean and transitions beautifully. But for this game, the remake looks exactly like the original as far as animation goes. They look so stiff, and I don't see like it doesn't look realistic. It really doesn't. Even I think Alan Wake, they have the same kind of approach of realism. I would say that it looks more realistic as far as movement goes. Um, and as for the bugs too, it's like I don't know. It's a remake. You would want to do your best to make sure it's perfect. There's a lot of of the bugs and glitches where things just glitch out, or there was even a scene, um there's a scene where it focuses primarily on a character pushing a button and his fingers just like bent. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna have a whole scene that focuses on one simple thing, how are you gonna have that still glitching? Like, I don't know. I feel like for a remake, it didn't exceed expectations or even meet expectations.
Well, to end this video here, um, I wish I could say that I'd recommend this game, but I really can't. I'm hoping they like patch, I guess, the old soundtrack or change, just take away the music or something. I have no idea. I feel like it just ruined remakes for me.
Really, the only thing that this game seems to have is the visuals and the characters and more detail and better quality. But besides that, it's really not much different.
But I see you.